This is Sniper Elite Resistance here on Xbox Series X. Be sure to like the video, subscribing is great as well. So this is what I'm considering to be a bit of a spin-off entry for the Sniper Elite franchise, where you are going across a familiar yet slightly different area in part of the French Resistance as a new character within the franchise, or, well, a character that actually has been in the background for a while. Harry Hawker is taking the reins as the lead, and you are pairing up, like I said, with the French Resistance in order to deal with the German occupation of the area, and a bit of a secret special weapon, and you're going to have to discover what exactly that is, and deal with it as the Sniper Elite that you're used to. The game is very much like you're probably familiar with. It's basically building off the foundations of Sniper Elite 5, and essentially just taking that concept and gameplay a little bit further in terms of, well, gameplay mechanics, style, and everything like that. But if you are well familiar with the Sniper Elite 5, this game is practically the same sort of setup in terms of like technology and gameplay. It's just they have slightly enhanced and updated some stuff, giving us these big, beautiful sandboxes to play in. I do hope in the future they kind of lean more towards... Where did I get noticed from? Oh. I do, in the future, hope they move more towards like a bit of a Hitman type angle would be really cool. And this game does lend itself a little bit more towards that, in the sense that you are basically able to like unlock some new entry points and stuff, and a little bit more lending itself to replayability than in the past, but it's still not quite at a Hitman level, which would be, again, really cool if it did embrace that sort of a concept. So the game is fun, but again, very familiar if you've played Sniper Elite in the past. I don't necessarily have problems with that aspect of it. I like the Sniper Elite games. A new one, I'm always excited about it. That being said, there are some things in this game that are a bit odd gameplay-wise, but we'll dive in and talk about those in a bit here, because I'm sure some people are going to be curious about the full scope of this one. So this is a game that you can play kind of alone. There's a cooperative angle. I am just getting spotted left, right, and center today. There's the gnarly X-rays are back, as expected. I don't know if they're too crazily different, but, you know, they've expanded upon that concept a bit. But anyways, yeah, basically, we've got the campaign, the cooperative element of the campaign. There is the invasion aspect of it. So you can basically have somebody come in and, like, antagonize you as you're trying to play, which is kind of neat if you're into that sort of competitive edge. You know, you do you, of course. And then there's the survival mode, so you can survive alone or with others. It's usually like 4-player survival is usually what we do in Sniper Elite stuff. Oh, no! I had it coming. Yeah, my character's so lower leveled compared to my... Because I played this on the PlayStation 5 to review it, but kind of funny. I'm a sitting duck here. Am I, though? I like to think there are sitting ducks for me to shoot. Anyways, yeah, so outside of that, we have, like I said, survival mode, where you can survive. There's only a couple maps, at least, that were available to me when I was working on this ahead of release. And then there is the online kind of multiplayer aspect of the game. So you can... Why are they so overly detective in this game? See, I'm not even kidding. This game is really weird from that. Like, we'll talk about that more a little bit later on, but it is weird how alert the AI is in this game. It's just bizarre. And I know it makes sense, like, I'm running around here a little bit, but, like, it makes sense when you go and play it, and some of the stuff where you're trying to be stealthy, and you're like, how are they knowing exactly where I am? Anyways, yeah, let's keep going talking about the game. There's the competitive multiplayer, so there's a bunch of, like, few different modes. It's like a deathmatch, a little objective thing here or there. There's also the... Oh, wow, that thing went right off. There's also this cool trench warfare mode. So basically, in trench warfare, you are stuck on either opposing side of these two trenches, and you can't, like, cross over. That's literally the only option, is for you to basically make your way through the, like, you just gotta shoot each other. It's just a sniping mode, which is really, really neat if you're, you know, into doing the sniping thing. That's kind of fun. So the multiplayer in this game is actually pretty cool and worth checking out. I do recommend that. I think that covers all the modes. Oh, there's also like a propaganda challenges mode kind of thing, so that's a little bit of an extra. I think that covers all the different options. It's similar to Sniper Elite 5. It does feel a little shrunken in terms of content, but, you know, again, spin-off is what I'm really thinking of this as. So I knocked his helmet off, but I didn't kill him. Wow! That was an incredible shot I did. Yeah, so from a technical perspective, this game is a dynamic 4K resolution at 60 FPS. There's HDR support, there's VRR support. I believe we should also have console keyboard and mouse. We did on the PlayStation side of things. Yeah, keyboard bindings. And VRR, variable refresh rate. I think I mentioned that. And yeah, I think that about covers all the visual stuff. Now, if you are wanting like a little bit of a comparison versus the PS5 version, the image here is a lot softer. The PS5 Pro version, that is. The detail and fidelity in like the backdrop of the environments is lower. But honestly, if you're playing here on Series X, everything like that, I doubt you'll notice. The game looks great. It looks sharp. There are some jaggedy type things when you're looking out into the backdrop of the world, and even like close objects, there's a little bit more jaggedy edges around things like these barricades kind of exhibited, and I don't know how well that shows up from like a watching on YouTube perspective, but like there is a little bit more jaggedy stuff in the closer range, but I think that is just kind of the game's aliasing, so keep that in mind. So getting the technical element out of the way. The story for this one is kind of interesting. I do wish they would focus a little bit more on narrative when it comes to Sniper Elite. Wait, is this an actual objective now? Oh, yeah, we gotta find the apartment thing. My bad. We gotta do the apartment thing. Totally forgot about that. Yeah, there's like the secret documents. We're here to find a mole. Where our mole is. Le mole. And yeah, where was I going with that? Anyways, the story stuff, a decently lengthy campaign. They do reuse a level really fast, which bothered me a bit. Like the first level, well, it's the only time they do that actually, but like the first level is reused as the fourth level, which is a bit bizarre to me, because I was just like, oh, like they expand it, you go to a different place, but it is reusing the same map. And there's only really like several maps, like levels in this game. It's not terribly long, but it's a decent amount of length. Again, if you're having played the Sniper Elite games, I think you know exactly what you're getting here. It's a fine entry. This guy, as a main character, I found slightly annoying at the start, but after like a couple levels, I was like, oh, I kind of like this dude. Honestly, I didn't have problems with him as I got used to him. And you can do like third person, first person, which is weird because like when I was playing PlayStation, I could have sworn it was locked ahead of launch to just aiming down, like only being first person, which I thought was interesting. Anyways, yeah, I digress. The story levels, basically they take as long as, you know, you're set up for like difficulty or, you know, how proficient you are. I did find this game to be a little annoying in terms of finding where objectives were. Obviously, I'm looking like a pro here, I hope, other than the fact that I'm not really taking stealth seriously as I should. You know, because I don't really care too much. I've already done this over, but anyways, talking about that, basically, you are given like these sort of objectives on the map, right? You've got these different bars, and it's like, find this stuff. But, like, it doesn't really help you find this stuff, and I think they've updated it a little bit since I played it too. It was funny, because, like, one of the patch notes ahead of where I was when I was reviewing this was basically like, hey, we made objectives less vague, and I was like, they were more vague before? Because it's like, it's weird, because it doesn't highlight things, and sometimes it over-highlights things. And I found that so bizarre when I was playing this game. I was just like, what? Because there was like one area here, for example, where the mole is, where I basically walked by the same area like 5 times, and it just wasn't giving me the interaction button. And then as soon as like I come back, like it took me like a long time to figure it out, and then I come back there like the 6th time, and I'm like, there is a door I can go through. It just like, it felt really illogical to me. Like some of the stuff was just, like I said, kind of annoying from like figuring out where I was going, and then some of the spots later on in the game, it's like overly telling you where things are, and I don't know, I just found that a little bit all over the place. And the AI too, which I do believe they have slightly adjusted, but the AI in this game really just knows where you are. It's honestly bizarre. They literally just, like, for example, I will run behind a building, and I'll go through like a tunnel or something like that, and they'll just be like waiting to ambush me on the other side of the tunnel, even though they wouldn't have any context as to like where I'm headed or where I'm going. And there's quite a few times in the campaign where I was just like a little, how did they know where I was? Like, how are they tracking me like this? Because obviously they're AI and stuff like that, right? Like it's, oh wait, I went the wrong way in the tunnel. You know, they're programmed and blah blah blah, but it was sort of like, oh no, this is the right way because we want to get to the garden. Okay. It was just like weird how they knew exactly where I was going, and I was just like, what? It just kind of threw me off for a bit of a loop, because I was like, it just doesn't make like sense, if you get what I mean. The game also has a skills system, so you can improve your skills, different things like health, items you have, combat ability and proficiency. So a little bit of a progressional system, and that all kind of works out pretty well. See, I quite like it, the gameplay of Sniper Elite. I always have. And this one, it's a pretty safe continuation, like I was saying. Like, literally, like this door, that's what I was talking about, this door. I walked by it like 5 times, didn't give me the option to press Y, and I was just so confused. And then there's secondary objectives, like, you know, dealing with reconnaissance. So you can go up here and you can use your binoculars to find stuff. Or there's an extra where you're gonna, like, kill this guy, and you know, it's got some little story bits. As I said, I do wish they would work a little bit more on the narrative element of the game. I know that's not, like, the big draw for people when they play this, necessarily, like, story. But I do think after we've had so many entries, it would be nice to have a little bit more character development, a little bit more, you know what I mean, a little bit more oomph for the narrative. I know it sounds silly for maybe Sniper Elite fans or something, I don't know, but I just think it would add a bit more to these games if they did have a little bit more story depth behind what's going on. It's always just like, oh, there's a situation, you're coming in and you need to deal with it, and that's typically what these games are, which is fine. I like them for what they are. I enjoy them for what they are. But I do also kind of like, you know, wish that there was something more. No, again, I did this on the PlayStation side, so if you are wondering about why I'm getting achievements, it's because I haven't played it on the Xbox side of things through the campaign at this point. Yeah, anyways, let's keep going here. And there's like workbenches in the game too, and different items you can collect, and it's just mostly, they give you a series of, like, I call them Fable-like hub worlds, where they're open, but they are, you know, contained space that you're working through and trying to figure things out. It's kind of neat. And, you know, it runs well on here, it's smooth, it's fluid, visually it looks fine, they got a good sense of detail. The maps feel large. It feels really like they are leaning off of, like, the accomplishments of, well, basically Sniper Elite 5, if that makes sense. Because, like, that game really, to me, was a big, impressive upgrade over what had come before. And it is just, like, I don't know, it's just interesting to see something that's a little bit more of a safe, tame upgrade. Which, you know, honestly, I'm fine with that. Sometimes it takes too long for, like, games and sequels and stuff to release, so it is kind of, you're still alive, so it's, wow, I really messed up on that. So sometimes it is nice to just have a safe, quicker sequel, I guess, and I don't really have a problem with it. I really genuinely don't. I think they did a good job with this game, and I would check it out and play the multiplayer, you know, as soon as you can, just to make sure that you can enjoy it with other players. Yeah, it's really, really quite a fun time, and I like the setup of it. I got used to the character and kind of liked him. over time. I do definitely miss Carl's, Carl Fairbairn's like distinct like gruff and stuff. And actually, if you didn't see it, I got an interview with him. He also did Tony the Tiger for like 20 years. Crazy, right? And there's lots of different like side modes. It does feel like, again, it's a little tighter, this game, compared to like previous entries. Is that a bird? I think it's a collectible. Cardboard pigeon. Yeah, that's a collectible. Oh, there's a giant one. That was right in front of me. Isn't that just gonna like tell everyone where I am though? It was cool though, as I shot the pigeons. Yeah, so hopefully we get another one with Carl at some point, and it just like I said, it feels toned down, it feels toned back a little bit for modes and different parts of the multiplayer. Maybe their stuff shows like, hey, people don't care as much about that kind of stuff. I don't know. I'm personally just waiting for another Zombie Army game. I'm kind of surprised they didn't. Like, I know Zombie Army 4 got lots of support, but typically we get a mainline entry and then they do a new Zombie Army, so I'm a little perplexed there. Maybe it's coming afterwards because they got this and then they got Adamfall they're working on, and
too many eyes, too many lights.
yeah, it's neat. Like I said, like a good sense of detail. I like the places you go in this. You get a good mix of like everything's grounded and realistic, but I do feel that you get like a good mix of like, oh, what kind of secret stuff are they working on? What exactly is going on here? And you get to go to like very French-like spots as you try to, figure out all the things that are going on and this special secret like thing project that the bad Germans are working on. And it's enjoyable is what it is. It's fun. It's a good play. It's something I think you can dive into and have a good time. If you're expecting a big evolution from Sniper Elite 5, that's just not going to be this game. Just consider it a bit of a more safe continuation of the franchise, them trying something different with like a new protagonist here. It's good. Like, it is good. Like, you just want to blast some of these guys, use all these cool weapons, and you get these big X-ray attacks. I really genuinely think you can get an enjoyable amount of an experience out of this. I just kind of wish there was more kind of things you could kind of do. Like, they do have a little bit of a, hey, you're able to basically get some replay out of stuff, but I do hope at some point they kind of do take some pages out of like what they do with Hitman, not the studio, but a different one, obviously, and just kind of evolve the idea of like even players coming up with their own sort of thing. And I know that would be a lot of work, and maybe it'd be like technical issues that would prevent that a bit, but it would be very, very cool if you could, for say, have a more dynamic setup where players are like, okay, you got this target to go kill, and then people go and kill him, and they can have like fun tie-in stuff. I just think the potential to grow this series and this franchise out towards not necessarily copying Hitman, but sort of taking some, concepts from that, because there really is some good stuff there, and these games they're not the same, of course. Like, Sniper Elite has its own identity, but there's definitely a lot of shareable kind of stuff in terms of them both being a sandbox environment that you explore and do stuff in, and offering different ways to come in and exfiltrate, and you're kind of a little bit of a stealthy secret agent to a degree. I mean, you're a great sniper, right? But I just think the potential to take that even further is certainly waiting, and something I think they could do a cool thing with. And then obviously they got their gnarly kills, which are always such a signature thing here. But yeah, I would definitely say dive into Sniper Elite if you've been craving more of it. If you are wanting something that breaks the mold, you're not getting that here. But that doesn't matter, because this franchise is still, to me, insanely fun, and I have a great time playing it all the way through each of these different, entries in the franchise. They're all fun. And if you like this one, go back and play Sniper Elite 5 and 4, and yeah, even the earlier ones are still great. Like, I've played virtually every entry in the series. It's just, yeah, this one does have some weird stuff, but at the same time, it's a fine continuation of a great franchise and a very cool experience that I thoroughly enjoy diving into.